Hello, everyone. This is a quick and dirty overview of the early life of Martin Luther, all the way from his childhood to the 95 Theses. And if you want to know a lot more, really, about Martin Luther, this is an excellent book, Resilient Reformer. The link is in the description below. And you can see it's kind of a thick book, so they don't leave much out about the life of Martin Luther. It's a good read, I think. It really delves into who Martin Luther was as a man. It doesn't glorify him, which I think is important. It just kind of tells it as it is. And Luther had some hiccups along the way, and he wasn't a perfect person. And I think it's important that we know that, and that he did bad things and good things, so his Satan sinner ideology really rings true for him. So this is a quick overview of Luther's life. So Martin Luther grew up in a family of blue-collar workers. His father, Hans Luther, was a miner for a good portion of his life, until he was able to move up into more of a contractor of mining equipment and also miners, or mining workers. For the majority of Martin's life, however, they lived in almost near poverty. And it is described that Hans was never really the religious type. He never felt compelled to donate to clergy who begged for money, as he saw a much greater need for that money going toward providing for his family, since they were in almost poverty. So much like many of us, they had a house but owed money on it. And similar to most parents, Margaret, Martin's mother, and Hans wanted the best for their kids, which included the best education they could afford. Hans wanted Martin out of their minor business and to putting his life efforts into making a decent life for himself through education. Martin eventually made his way to university, and it was during this time that his parents found themselves in a much more prosperous financial situation as well. Luther moved quite quickly through his Bachelor's of Arts degree, where he learned about physics, psychology, astronomy, philosophy, and a whole bunch of other things. But one of the most important things that he learned was how to debate. He didn't finish very distinguished in his Bachelor's of Arts, but he did finish rather quickly, which was his goal. He then spent the next few years working toward his Master's of Arts degree. He got the degree coming second in his class, which is a lot better than 13th in his class with his bachelor's, and was really starting to become someone, just like Hans and Margaret wanted him to be. And his family was super proud of his success and wished him into a life of then studying law. He entered law school, and only a short 6 weeks later did he come to find himself completely turned around. We all know this story, right? The one where he is caught in a thunderstorm on his way back to law school after visiting his family. He was almost killed by a bolt of lightning, so he cried out to Saint Anne, the mother of Mary, to save him, promising that if she did save him, he would become a monk and devote himself to God and service of God. He was saved, after all, and that is exactly what he did. His father and family were not happy with him. He was supposed to study law and make a name for himself, not give up everything and become this poor monk. But nonetheless, Martin was a man of his word, and he joined an Augustinian monastery in Erfurt, the house of the order of Augustinian hermits. Martin took vows of obedience, chastity, and poverty. As is typical Luther fashion, he threw himself into the life of the monastery. He was one to only give 100% in everything that he did. That included also 100% of doing nothing as well. Eventually, he decided he was feeling called to become a priest. He was first ordained a deacon and then a priest. And similar to us Lutherans' ordinations, the celebration of a priest's first Mass is one of great honor and in need of great celebration. Luther's father did attend, and even though he had reservations in the past. But Hans still did feel some anger toward Luther, or Martin, for disobeying him and following the devil, as Hans put it, for joining the monastery. So in Hans' eyes, joining the monastery was the work of the devil. In only his 3rd year at the monastery, he became one of the faculty as well as continued in his studies for another master's degree, but this time a master's of the sentences, or a master's of the theological study of Peter Lombard. As he continued to rise in his knowledge of many great thinkers, as well as rise in his ranks at the monastery, including becoming the preacher and a professor, he started having doubts about the authenticity of those around him. He started questioning the church, his own monastery, and eventually church doctrine as he worked toward his doctorate degree. And the rest comes with his first issues of the church, all 95 of them. Have a good day. God bless.